Welcome back to Get Google Ready for 2024, which is the series that I release every year, which lets you know not only how to correctly set up, but also how to optimize every different type of Google Ads campaign that you will need in 2024. And in this lesson, I'm going to be taking you through the process for setting up a demand gen campaign. Now, if you don't know what I'm talking about, that is actually not too surprising because demand gen campaigns have only been around for the last couple of months, where they're released to the general public around about September, October, depending on where you're located in the world in 2023. So before I take you through the step-by-step process of setting up a demand gen campaign, I do want to give you a little bit of a background on what they are, but also too, I want to give you some warnings and some consideration points for whether you should use a demand gen campaign, because where it's sitting right now, I'm not recommending this for widespread use, and I'll go through those reasons very, very soon. Before we get into the step-by-step setup process, I do want to take you through what demand gen campaigns are actually designed to do. And the first thing that I do want to point out is that they have very, very limited keyword targeting options. Now, I want you to hear this in the right way, and they are not exactly like a social campaign, like a Meta or Facebook or Instagram type campaign. But when you look at a traditional search or shopping campaign versus a Meta campaign, demand gen is very much more swayed towards the social media type campaign. And the reason for that is because the main networks that it's going to be marketing on is YouTube, specifically YouTube Shorts. Now, your ads will also appear in your general in-stream YouTube videos, and they also do appear on the Discovery Network and also in Gmail. So there's no focus on search, shopping, or display networks. So the way that this is designed is demand gen is very much designed at reaching people at very, very early in the process, and it's replaced the discovery campaigns. So it's looking at and bringing in new users that haven't had anything to do with your business and looking at targeting them even before they complete some targeted searches for your business. So there's a couple of things that we want to point out straight away. And the first thing I want to point out is that a key factor for success in these type of campaigns will come down to a couple of factors. The first one being the quality of your ads. And the reason for that is because there's quite a few challenges. The first one is that it's targeting audiences that don't have any interest in your brand, may not even have any interest in your product. So you're going to be interrupting them when they're on their YouTube Shorts feed or opening up their Gmail. So your ads have to be something that can really capture their attention, or at least start to plant the idea. The other thing that's going to be following on from that is that they're probably going to have to see your ads multiple numbers of times. So the window from when they first saw your ad through to conversion is going to be quite a long way. The other thing that is going to be important is that because it's built off audiences, the success of your initial audiences, so with demand gen, you can feed in some initial audiences around your converters or your customer lists, which then Google builds out similar to like a lookalike audience, that what you would see in a Meta ads campaign. So it also will come down to the quality of the initial audiences that you give Google. So the big takeaway message that I want you to take from everything that I've just said there is that demand gen is not going to be a go-to campaign. So I would not be using it as a first off campaign. And in terms of ad spend, I would only be using anywhere between 5 to 10%. And that's only for businesses who have a Google Ads account that has a lot of conversion data and a lot of audience data, and also a business that has the budget in order to be able to invest into video as an ad format. So not everyone is going to be able to do that. So don't feel like you have to start a demand gen campaign, because it's very much for businesses who fit those criteria, in that they've got really good audience data already inside of Google Ads, and they've also got the ability to create video ads, which is going to be at a high enough quality to get some cut through. The other thing that I would say there as well is that I'm still in the early parts of testing demand gen, so I'm in no hurry to give my full recommendation for it. I do have some initial data which I can show you, but once again, I would be treading slowly with demand gen. So having said that, I don't want to turn you off it, because I know some people out there just like to test it like me. I am starting demand gen just to see the results. But as I said, me personally, I'm not going to clients and giving it as a strong recommendation and saying that demand gen is going to be the thing that turns around the total performance of their account. So with all of that said, what I want to do right now is jump into a screen share so I can show you some initial results after the first 30 days. So really, really small data. And then I'll also take you through the step-by-step process in how to set up a demand gen campaign. So with all that said, let's get straight into it. All right, so what I'm showing you in here is some demand gen campaigns that we set up and we have been running throughout October. As you can see from here, it's not the prettiest reading, I'll be blatantly honest with you, is that when you're looking through here, you know, we spent $4,000, which is about 8 to 9% of this total budget. Also too, this was for a client that was really looking to quickly increase their spending as they're coming into some peak season selling. The actual total conversion value was only $1,500, which as I said, doesn't make for great reading. But what I want to do here is I do want to just add in a segment function in here. So what I want to show you in through here is that when we look at the different types of conversions as well, where we also include, because they've had a lot of email signups, it did also generate 118 email signups. Now, if we put that into their cost per all conversion, now they have an average sale of about $85 to $100. So when you look at that metric, it was still $38 for a per email sign up. They do have a really, really high conversion rate, but as I said, it was still really, really expensive for them. The other thing that I do want to show through here as well is that when we see these view through conversions, there were also a further 65 conversions. So this is people who saw a video and then went through and completed another conversion action. So look, there would be some argument to say that it performed better than what it did. We also did start to see some spikes near the end. For me, it's still too very, very early. The other thing I did want to point out is that, you know, this is 21 days, the first 3 weeks of the campaign. So we hadn't even gone through and tested different video options. So there's a lot of different factors here. So that's what I'm saying, that for me, I'm still very much in my own initial testing. This isn't a main strategy that I'm using for clients, but if you want to give it a try, you do have some great video assets. It could definitely be just another thing that you add into your campaign. But as I said, I would still only be investing no more than 10%. Realistically, I'm probably more comfortable with about 5%. So right now, let me now take you through the process of setting up a demand gen campaign. So where you want to start, again, you want to go through and start at new campaign. So when it comes to your campaign objective, it is important to note that for this to select, so if you were to go through and choose brand awareness and then video, you would see that it doesn't come up. So you do need to go through and go product and brand consideration, and then you have the demand gen option. We go through and click continue. So then it just becomes, once again, the process of going through and putting a campaign name. So I'm going to be putting this as DG just for demand gen, and I'm going to be putting in outreach 24. And then you can actually have where you want it to choose on clicks or conversions. Now I am going to select conversions in here. What we want to be doing is that we're going to be going through and selecting options for converted leads. Now, because this is going to be for a campaign which people will fill out a form and then we get the product sale later, that's why we've gone through converted leads. You could also do purchases. Once again, you could do submit lead forms, so you can add these in. And then from there, you can go through and choose a target cost per action. Now at the moment, because once again, I'm just doing some initial testing, I'm not going to set a target cost per action. And then we come from here, we're going to set a daily budget. This account is spending about $130 a day, so we'll just set our budget at $10 a day. Once again, like a lot of times, Google is going to give you these recommendations for crazy budgets, but I would not worry about that. And we're going to initially run this for the first 90 days. So we'll run this through to the end of January, and then we can come through and review some different options. And then from here, what I am going to do is I'm going to go into devices and I am going to turn off TV screens. Now, the reason why I'm doing that is because I don't want my ads to appear on TV, because we're very much doing shorts. So what I am even going to do here is just very much focus it on mobile phones and tablets. You can add in those different devices, but for me, I'm just going to very much go through for mobiles and tablets. Then we go through to add group one. Once again, so that we know what's happening in here, I'm just going to be going new leads. If you had this around specific products, because you can actually add in a product feed here, you could, say what the product name was. That example that I gave you, we broke it into 4 different product categories. And I'm going to be going through and just choosing some core locations that I know convert well for us. And that's going to be the United States and also the United Kingdom. Once again, because we're in targeting, I just want to go into some larger population bases. And we're only going to be going for English. Now, from here, this is where it becomes really important that you do need to add in your audiences. So we're going to go in through here. Now, I've already got some audiences in here. I'll just take you through the process of showing you how to set up a new audience. We're just going to call this one outreach. Now, I'm going to add in my segments in here. If you wanted to, what you could do, you could add in a new segment, and that's when you add in the different search terms. We've already got this in here, so I'm going to be adding them in here. Once again, I do recommend that you add in your data, because remember, this is the basis of where Google is going to be adding in some extra audiences. So we've got 8,500 people here, so I'm going to add in these website visitors. The other one that I'm going to add in here is our customer list that we've updated. That's giving Google a base of about just over 20,000 people that they can start targeting. And And then from there, you can go through and add what's called a lookalike list. And this is reach people who are similar to our seed list. So the seed list is the website visitors and the customer list. So we're going to go through to segment, and I've just called this lead outreach. And what we're going to be doing in through here is I'm going to select all of these, and these are all of our different audiences that we have inside of Google Ads at the moment. And what I'll do is I'll just close the ones that don't have any in them. And so you can see here, we've got a good collection of users. Obviously, the larger the numbers that you have, the better initial list that you will be able to get. And then you can make a decision whether you want this to be narrow, balanced, or broad. Obviously, broad is reaching out further and further, but let's just keep this initially at balanced. And once again, we were targeting the United States and the United Kingdom. And then we go through and click save. Now, if you want to, you can go through and add in some other audiences in here. So what I have got, I know that these top 4 or 5 perform well for us. We're just going to add those in. Once again, I'd be going into and looking at your other campaigns, so your other search or shopping or performance max campaigns, and choosing the best interest and detailed demographics and adding them in here. Now, if you did want to, you can add any exclusions. I'm not going to do that. You can go through and add in some demographics. I am going to just refine this a little bit, just because we know that for this product, we kind of start to tap out at above 54 in terms of purchases. So then we'll just go through and click save. Now, optimized targeting, essentially what that means is that you're just giving Google extra permission to reach out even further. I'm going to keep this in, as I said, because this is very much just a test. So I just want to see that. If you're worried about budget, I probably wouldn't be going down demand gen in the first place anyway, but you would unselect that. And then from there, you go add one, and we need to create our first ad. We're going to just put a name on this, and this is the lead generation, and we're going to call this ad one. So from here, what you can do is you can make a decision whether you want image ad, video ad, or carousel image ads. So fairly similar in all of them. Obviously, if it's a single image ad, you just need to go through and add in your images. If it's a video ad, I've already got some YouTube URLs, so they're the ones that you need to add in there. But for this one, we're going to add just a single image ad, and we know that this is the version that works well for us. And then from there, once you've added in your logo, it's just a matter of adding in your headlines. I've already got some headlines ready to go. So you can add up to 5. I'm just going to add 1 just so I can show you through this process. And we've got to add in the name. And then finally, you need to go through and add the URL where you want it to go through to. So what we've got in through here, you can see now, if I wanted to add in some extra testing, you can add in some different ad variations. And another option of what I'm going to be doing so that I can get cleaner data, what I am going to do is I'm going to duplicate this ad. And then in this ad through here, what I will do is I'll go through and I'll also use the different variations. So that way I can see which ad color performs better or which ad style performs better. So now we've got 2 different ad formats with some different styles in the ad. And then from there, if we wanted to, we could also duplicate it again. And if we wanted this one to be a video ad, we could go through and add in our video ad in there. So once you've got that ready to go, then it's just a matter of going through, reviewing it, making sure you're happy with everything, and then go through and press publish campaign. So that's the process of how you go through it and set up a demand gen campaign. But as I said, and you can probably pick up from this video, that it's not a campaign type that I'm ready to give my full support to. And that's very much just because I haven't seen the full data. I've only been using these type of campaigns for 1 or 2 months, but I did want to just show you the step-by-step process because I have been getting a lot of requests in how to set up these campaigns. Now, as I get more data, I will be sharing this with you and giving you my best insights and recommendations. But at the moment, that's probably the only level of comfort that I want to share. The only thing that I would say is just really highlight once again that I would only really be recommending people going down the demand gen path if they had those things in place, which once again was the ability to be able to create good assets, whether that be video or image assets. Also got some good lists within their Google Ads account because you need those initial lists, as I said, to build out those seed lists. And then finally, I wouldn't be, for example, investing my whole house on it, my whole livelihood on it. As I said, I'm just at the stage of just giving it sort of 5 to 10% of the total budget until we can see some further results. So once again, thank you for joining me. My name is Aaron and I'm from Define Digital Academy. And remember that if you want to keep up to date with Google Ads as we move into 2024 and you want to make sure that you know every time I release a new video, make sure that you not only subscribe, but you turn on that notification bell. Once again, thank you for joining me. See you next time.